each week as I spin the latest international sounds in new soul, R&B, hip-hop, and a little taste of everything in between. Every show features independent producers from across the globe in the beats beneath, and the 10 sweetest vibes of the week smooth out the night in the 10 drop. Honey Drop, each and every Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, here on iLive Radio. Serving up audible treats like honey, always with a heavy beat drop.
Attention à tous les musiciens, groupes, associations, clubs et organisations qui représentent les styles collectifs de musique à travers la Canada. Le moment est venu de reconstruire nos genres des nations musicales collectives comme le hip-hop, le R&B, le jazz, le soul, le reggae, le gospel et plus unis. La Nation de la musique collective est une organisation à but non lucratif engagée dans le développement de la musique collective. Des adhésions gratuites sont disponibles dès maintenant. La Nation de la musique collective, une seule voix, la force dans l'unité.
Greetings, my family. This is Steel. Now, some of you may know me, while some of you may not. I'd like to take this time to invite you to go check my latest album, Just Breathe. Now available online anywhere music is sold. 14 blazing tracks, including sweet reggae music, I Feel Like, Tonight, Show and Tell, plus many more. Follow me on Instagram at The Real Steel One, Facebook at Steel Mobs, or YouTube at Steel Official Music. Take the chance. You may love what you hear. Steel, Just Breathe, available now. One love until we meet. My name is Steel.
Your number one local radio station.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you for joining me this Tuesday afternoon. Back with me tonight is my resident health fitness expert, Joel Gravesandy. Joel, you there?
I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening. I got your name right?
Yeah, kind of.
One of these, one of these days, I'm gonna get it. Gravesandy, Joel Gravesandy. Grave Sandy. Yes. The serial killer Patrick strikes again. Seem to be murdering names all the time. Okay, so let's just dive right into this. So we're talking about the conversation that we had previous to the show about the 3 M's to health: motivation, movement, and mental health. And we just. So last week, Ontario, we kind of went back and took some steps backwards into some lockdown, and then we just got some notice today that in Toronto, the kids are not going back to school tomorrow. They're saying probably after the March/April break. But last year they said it was going to be after March break, and then all the kids were stuck at home for like the rest of the school year. And that really kind of created some challenges with a lot of students and a lot of people. Their kids are sitting at home looking at them. Now they have to be teacher, trying to help the kids out. And, I don't know about you, but it's been a while since I've tried to figure out algebra or BEDMAS or, what was it? Plus comes before minus, negative something or other. I don't know. But, so many people have been struggling with their physical health, mental health, motivation, like all of that sort of stuff. So I hope you guys will stick around for the next hour as we sort of dive into a little bit of this stuff. So Joel, you are a fitness expert, fitness, Pilates person, healthcare worker. You work on the front lines, and you've been vaccinated, and
Yes, I have.
and you look healthy.
Yeah,
So
and I am.
the vaccination hasn't impacted you.
No side effects, thank God so far. It's been
Yeah.
good. I had it February, so yeah.
Okay, I know there's many schools of thoughts out there. Some people are like, sign me up, I need that right away, and then other people are kind of like, I'm gonna be behind the last guy in the lineup before I go and take this because I have no idea. But all of this stuff kind of really impacts us. So let's jump into the first piece of this here in terms of motivation. At this point, it's kind of hard to feel motivated. I know last week when we heard that we were going to go back into lockdown, it was like, oh man, come on again! Like really, this is kind of crazy. And and then the news today that the kids are going to be stuck at home again for a lot of parents in Toronto. That the other regions, they haven't said anything yet, but usually the other regions end up following Toronto, right? So how does this motivation thing work at this point?
I think too, it helps with the whole daylight savings. I think just the warmer weather, the brighter it's sun staying out longer. I think that also it's like a little bit more encouraging for people to get out, right? And get enjoy the sunlight, get out, be active.
Yeah, but the thing though is if I'm feeling kind of bummed out just with everything. You can't travel, you can't connect with your friends the way that you'd like to connect with your friends. It can be really easy to become that couch potato. Because I know in the city of Toronto, there's a lot of push to get people out. The Get Out Toronto thing that they're doing, blocked off certain streets so people can go walking or running or cycling, that sort of thing. But for a lot of people, that they might be struggling with being able to just have the motivation to get off their couch and not wear a path from their into the floor from their living room to their refrigerator.
Yes.
So for people who are struggling with that right now, what would you kind of say to some of those guys to help to get them to get off the couch kind of thing?
I would tell people, you just want to get moving. Like, as I'm sure, just being stuck on the couch, you're starting to feel more tired, more stiff. You're losing your flexibility. You're probably, might be gaining a few pounds.
Yep.
So just talk, I'm sure if you have a friend that's into fitness or even just likes to going for a walk that you are comfortable with. I know it's hard now because we're not supposed to associate with people outside of our household. So that also could be a challenge, but maybe talking to somebody, friends that'll help build your spirits, that will push you to, just remind you of the health and fitness benefits of getting off the couch and getting outside and getting off doors. That's what I tell my friends, that are kind of in the slump. Like, I get into slump as well. So I try to encourage them, like, you know what, it's brighter out, the weather's nicer, just go and get some fresh air into your lungs, right? We're breathing in that stale air, being indoors all the time, the benefits. So I just try to reinforce the benefits of getting up, and getting that free vitamin D and, just get your body moving again. Even if you just walk out and get the mail, that might encourage you to, oh, the weather's really nice. Let me just go for a walk down the street. So I'll say, you know what, just go down for a block down the street. Just seeing people, even though you can't really engage with them, it also motivates you, right? And once you get outside and you start to feel that fresh air and breathe in that fresh air, you might be motivated to not just go down the street, but also go around the block. And then you might want to even feel encouraged to go further, right? And once your body starts moving, you start feeling better. It just,
there is a certain amount of endorphins that are released once our bodies start moving. But the challenge a lot of the times is I know, my part of my challenge is I'm comfy, and it's kind of a self feeding thing wherein you're feeling lazy on the couch or wherever, sitting down doing whatever it is you're doing, and then once you get up and you start moving, you're okay, and it feels good, but it's just that initial push, I don't know, have somebody push me off the couch.
It's like for me every morning. It's just that the alarm goes off and I just want to stay in bed. But once I initially get up physically out of bed and start moving, that's my day. I start moving and I'm going. I don't feel to go back into bed. So it's the same thing. It's like that initial get up, tie my shoelaces, get outside and move, just triggers the brain just to keep moving, and as you move, you feel good, and it helps to clear your mind. If something's on my mind, I'm stressed about it, or I can't figure it out, just going for a walk, it just helps to clear the brain. And it's proven that physical fitness and just going for a walk, getting fresh air, doing something active helps to clear the mind, helps to change your mood.
How important is like having some kind of a schedule? Like, is that?
Well, I feel like for some people, they don't need a schedule. I find that schedule really helps dictate your day because then you get so caught up, and now everyone's so busy with everything that's going on. And then also the trials of this whole COVID thing. So having that schedule, putting it in your phone and saying, okay, this is time to do whatever, eat or whatever you have to do at work, working from home. Now it's exercise time. And once your body gets into that routine, it sticks with you, right? It's 21 days before you build a pattern. So if you schedule it in your phone or however you do your scheduling, something visual, it just becomes a routine, right? So that I feel like the scheduling would definitely help.
I know for like my son, a lot of teenagers right now are, they're up later, they're sleeping later, their whole system is kind of out of whack at the moment. And most teenagers, from what they say, that their clock's already out of whack. And so trying to get him on a schedule, has definitely been a bit of a challenge. And now with him being at home all the time now for the next little while, indefinitely, I can understand a lot of parents would be challenged with being able to get their kids moving, as well as themselves, right? Because we're all in that state of, oh my God, we're in lockdown again. I can't see my peoples. And then there's a lot of confusion around what the rules are. Can I, associate with anybody from outside of my house, or how many people, or if it's in a park, how do I do this? I know one of the things my son has been bugging me about is getting an animal in my house. And for anybody who knows me, I love animals. I just don't like them in my house. But for some people that might be a viable, alternative for them, to help them, because, you have to take that dog for a walk, and with you being able to have to take that dog for a walk, it gets you out of the house, it gets you moving. Or if you have younger children at home, scheduling some time to take them to the park or something like that is definitely something that not only is going to get them moving, but it's also going to get you moving as well. For what are some of the biggest challenges you find with a lot of your clientele at Forever Fit by Joel, that in terms of from the motivation standpoint, do they all come in and they're like, "Rah, let's do this"?
No, because this whole new virtual is new to a lot of people, right? You're used to, everyone wants to get out. Most people are used to just getting out. They want to leave that environment of being home where they're doing whatever their chores, and just to get out and be away and have time for themselves. So this whole new virtual training where they're still at home and they still have kids upstairs that might call out to them, it's still of a challenge. So doing it, I find clients, once they get into the groove, they have to kind of like figure out how they're going to do their scheduling, like you said, with their children, with eating and everything. But once they start, they're finding it's really great, because the fact that now, instead of having to get in the car, drive to the gym or drive to the studio, they literally just put on their clothes and show up at the computer, right? So it's a lot easier for a lot of clients. They're actually finding it much better than having to jump in a car and drive down to the studio. So I've been having some great feedback from my clients. It's
kind of interesting that we, with more people being at home, it's almost like we have more time, but then it also seems like we have less time. But we have more time to schedule our physical activities in, and which is not always easy to do, even though we have more time. It feels so weird to me. I know for me, I like to be outside, and like I have a little gym area in my house, and half the time I look at it, I'm like, I struggle with doing that in the house. I have to go outside and get beat up on a ski hill by Mike Manhertz. But it's really a weird place that we find ourselves in right now in terms of being motivated to to do any kind of exercise because we do have more time, because we're at home more. But then that it's almost like we find ourselves wanting to do less, even though we have more time. I don't know. Have you encountered any of that?
No. Well, some of my clients have actually said to me, they find it's a lot easier for them, like the mothers, because now they don't have to figure out childcare to fit in their Pilates session. Whereas before they have to figure out, okay, who's going to take care of my child for the next 2 hours? And they could have their kid actually in the next room, or they can start their meal, like dinner prep, put in some laundry while they come and do a class with me. So some mothers are finding there's pros and cons, right? So the people that were eager to get out of the house, there's still that kind of setback. But then ones that also have their chores, now they don't have to think about, or childcare, like I said, dinner, laundry, they can all fit all that in while they're still fitting in their fitness. So it might be actually a pro to them, you know what I mean? As opposed to a con where they had to like forego that laundry or dinner, do takeout that evening because they wanted to fit into a Pilates session. Now they can do everything and still fit in because it's a half an hour. They're literally running downstairs. They don't have to think about leaving or the commute time, right?
So for those your clientele, you're finding that it makes it a lot easier for them.
Yeah. That's the feedback I'm getting from my clients.
Okay.
They like the ease. Like they thought it would be a huge challenge because they were so used to coming out and making that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 o'clock, whatever the time was. They had to figure out, what they had to do in accordance to get to the studio. Where now they're at home, they don't have to worry about commute time, childcare, dinner prep, laundry, or whatever. They literally just throw on whatever. They don't have to, also too, attire. They don't have to worry about putting on their fancy gym attire, right? They could just put on whatever.
So just roll up in their pajamas and they're fine. Yeah. So you have that segment that you're talking about that they find that this is easier now because, and granted, for some people, yeah, it is going to be easier because we have so much access, right? To so many things, so many classes, whether it's yours or, there's a whole bunch that I won't list off. But then there are also the set of people who they're motivated because they leave the house.
Yes.
They're motivated because, they were leaving the house to go to the gym.
Yes.
It was a distinct separation between their house and, that physical exercise. And now the gyms are closed. So it's like they can't leave their house to now go to the gym. You understand what I mean?
I hear you. I faced the challenge too, but at the same time, now it's been over a year now. We're going into past a year. And I think people are starting to realize that, hey, I have to find a second, plan B now. If they haven't found plan B by now, I think they've kind of triggered in their mind, I need to find a plan B because gyms are opening and they're closing. And when they are open and then there's certain times you have to go, it's not like you could just drive up and go to the gym whenever you want. You actually have to book a time and you have that hour designated to go to the gym. So that also still a challenge, even when the gym does open. It's just like, you can't just, you know what I mean? So, and then the time, it's not like you can say, pick your time. It's usually whatever time is allowable at the time. So if it's only at 9 p.m., you can get into the gym. It doesn't work for everybody, right? It wouldn't work for me to go to the gym at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. if that's the only time available. So they're still facing that challenge even when the gym does open. So I think people are realizing that I have to find a second source if I want to get my fitness in, right?
Yeah, I agree. It is a bit of a challenge all around. For those who like to leave their house and who might feel less motivated because they're stuck at home, and then others who are home are thinking, "Oh my gosh, it's like Amazon delivery. I can get I can get my exercise delivered to me in a way." There's a lot of schools of thoughts on both sides of the fence, right? Both people. Some might find it easier, just like with the way this pandemic has really impacted many people. Some people are thriving and others are crumbling. Being able to figure out a way to keep yourself motivated in this time is not necessarily all that easy. And the breakup of the routines and the patterns that we were under before, kids leaving home, going to school, now they're stuck at home. Parents having, if they worked from home before, now they're no longer, they are working from home, but now the kids are home and they're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get my work done? Keep yelling at my kid to turn the music down. How do I sort of balance all of that? And being able to stay motivated in the midst of all of that definitely is a challenge that everybody's kind of facing right now. And it doesn't quite look, the vaccines are here and they're being rolled out, but there's a bit of a challenge with, because it doesn't look like there's much of an end in sight. We're going to take a 2-minute break in a second, but don't want to necessarily leave this on such a grim note. But, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about just moving in general, just getting out and doing some movement and what impact that's going to have, that will help to have on your mental health as well. But definitely want to stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Jamie Sparks, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Hey, this is Jermaine Robbins, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Yo, this is Kiana O'Quinn, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
This is Lavinia J from the UK, and you're listening to iLive Radio.
Attention, all musicians, bands, associations, clubs, and organizations that represent collective styles of music across Canada. Now is the time to rebuild our collective music nation. Genres like hip-hop, R&B, jazz, soul, reggae, gospel, and more united. The Collective Music Nation is a non-profit organization committed to the development of collective music. Free memberships are available now. Collective Music Nation. One voice. Strength in unity.
This is Miss Care keeping you connected with your iLive 5x5. Brought to you by iLive Music. Sponsored by Independent Hype and powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive5x5.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iliveradio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms.
Greetings, my family. This is Steel. Now, some of you may know me, while some of you may not. I'd like to take this time to invite you to go check my latest album, Just Breathe. Now available online anywhere music is sold. 14 blazing tracks, including sweet reggae music, I Feel Like, Tonight, Show and Tell, plus many more. Follow me on Instagram at The Real Steel 1, Facebook at Steel Mobs, or YouTube at Steel Official Music. Take the chance. You may love what you hear. Steel, Just Breathe, available now. One love until we meet. My name is Steel.
The number one hit music station.
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
And we're back. I want to thank you guys for coming back with me and Joel. And so before the break, we were talking a lot about, the loss of motivation for that a lot of people have been facing. For some people, it's been better because they've been, they have more access to get some exercise in, think about their health. And then for other people, they struggle because for them, health and fitness is definitely something that is outside of the house. They get out, go to a park, they exercise in the park with a bunch of friends or, boot camps. There's so many different things that people do, or they just leave their house and go to the gym. And the side effects of that now is that a lot of the gyms are closed and the boot camps are closed. And so there's a bit of a struggle in and around getting the level of movement. And we all know, and the doctors have been telling us for a long time that just getting up and moving releases certain endorphins and keeps us, it does impact our mental state and helps to keep us in a more even keel. So for Joel, let me just throw this at you. So, you being the health expert and all, for somebody who's been like sitting on their couch for the last year or so, waiting for the gyms to open up, you know, and they're tired now and they're like, want to do something else. They want to do something, you know, should they like just get out and decide they're going to run a 10K marathon tomorrow?
No. I always say start off slow. Like I was mentioning before, I would tell people to, you know, just get up, put on your shoes and just go for a walk. Just go for a walk, even if it's just down the street, right? Yep. Start off small and then start to build on that. So like I teach Pilates, so I would say go for a walk, get your cardio in, get some fresh air in, fill your lungs, breathe in that fresh air, get that vitamin D, start moving. You know, once you start moving, everything starts to click, right? That, hey, this feels great. You know, you start to feel great. Your mood changes. You might get some clarity on something that you were struggling with during the day. And then I also introduce them to what I do, right? And it's all about breathing and moving your body, mindful movement, helping with concentration and thinking. And, you know, and as you start to move and you start to enjoy it, chances are you're going to continually do it, right? And like I was mentioning how the weather is getting better and the sun's out longer, you know, people are more motivated to move. And when they see people around their neighborhood moving too, it also encourages you. Just like if you're running a 10K and you're running with a group of people, even though you want to stop, you see the crowd running past you, it keeps motivating you to keep moving regardless. And then your mind just says, I can do this, you know, it's not so bad, you know, and then tomorrow you might just say, hey, you know what, that walk yesterday was great. I want to do it again. I might want to go for a longer walk today. And then that day it rains and you can't get out. You're just like, oh, I really missed it. You know what I mean? That's kind of like how we think, or how most people think.
What are your thoughts on those electronic devices that, you know, you can wear? There's, you know, various different ones that can like track your steps. I have no idea how these things work, you know.
I love it.
How does it tell when I'm sleeping? You know, or how does it tell what my breathing is? You know, I'm like, what kind of guzoo does this thing have to be able to read all this stuff?
I had one. I need to accept my new one. But when I had it, it was just a mental thing for me. Just seeing the numbers, seeing how many steps that I did. It was just like, wow, I did 10,000 steps today. I did 15,000 steps today. Most people have the watch too. So sometimes you can get a group of people and, you know, it's like a little mini kind of playful challenge. Whereas how many steps did you do today? You know, so that's like, well, next week I'm gonna put it up 500 more steps and build my steps. So you could set your watch to your goal. Plus the goals, they also tells you, like you said, sleeping patterns. So you might be more aware of how you're sleeping. You might think you're the greatest sleeper, and then your watch tells you, really, no, you only really got 3 hours of solid sleep.
You mentioned the whole sleeping thing, and this is something that really kind of blew me away. So my children got me a Fitbit for Christmas, and I'd just wear it when I was working out because I kind of wanted to see, you know, get an idea as to how much I was working out. And then I realized it had all these other functions. So I started wearing it all the time. And when I started looking at the sleep function that's in it, you're totally right in that it really blew my mind and shifted my way of thinking about how I slept. Because, and again, I have no idea how this thing is able to figure out what it figures out. You know, how many minutes I'm awake, or what time I woke up, what time I went back to sleep, you know, what the deep sleep is, what maybe I should like look this up and do a whole show on this thing. But the way that it broke down my sleep, and then it gives, you know, it scores you. And, you know, once I started to see that, it really shifted my thinking about sleep in a very different way that I've never done before. And it really kind of blew my mind, because there are sometimes I go to bed and I think, oh, I had 10 hours sleep, or 10 hours. Yeah. I had like 8 hours sleep or something like that. And I'm thinking, okay, I had a good sleep, but I'm still tired when I got up. And then I look at this thing and it's like, oh, okay, I can see by the metrics why. Or there's sometimes I only got 5 hours sleep, but I feel so refreshed. And I realized in the time when I had the 5 hours sleep, I actually slept better than when I had the 8 hours sleep. And it's so weird that it's something that we all do that we never really stop and think about how that plays out in our lives.
And also too can help because now that you see that you might only get 4 hours of deep sleep, and then it shifts your mind to why is it only that I'm only getting 4 hours of deep sleep, right? And it also plays a part in your nutrition and being active. They say, well, it's proven that if you eat late and go to bed, your body's too busy trying to break down that food. You can't sleep properly, right? Also, getting out and getting exercise also helps with sleep, also helps with anxiety and stress and all those things that keep people awake, keep their brain constantly going at night instead of getting that solid sleep. So it all ties in together, right? Your nutrition, when you should stop eating so you can get a proper night's sleep. When you going and exercising during the day or whatever time you exercise helps with the mood and anxiety and stress, and that also helps to encourage proper sleep. So yeah, so having the watch, I find, or your cell phone, I think the watch is better than having it on your cell phone. It also, yeah, so now you're more aware that you're not getting that sleep, why you're so tired during the day, if you have sleep apnea, and then you start to think about, is my nutrition on part? Am I getting enough exercise? So those are other motivations, another way of motivating yourself into why you should exercise.
So the impact of how we sleep on our motivational level and on our physical health in so many different ways is really something that we don't think about. And I know by all means, I'm not promoting specifically Fitbit or whatever, and I'm not endorsed by any of those guys. But if you do get a device that will help you to be able to see how you sleep, then it's definitely something. It's a tool that you can use to help to motivate you along the journey. Just like you were saying, I a friend of mine was saying, was it yesterday, that she actually gave up her Fitbit because the people who she was in competition with kept making her feel so bad. But we have to be able to use whatever tools are available to us to keep us motivated, to keep us doing something. And whether it's figuring out, how to get better sleep, or it's simple challenges with your friends to hold you accountable and keep you motivated. Something, I've got another friend who their office pool always they do these step challenges, and so everybody in the office keeps track of their how many steps they're doing every day, and there's a target, and then there's a prize for it, and all this stuff. So there is a lot of things that are out there, a lot of tools that are out there that we can use in order to help us to be a little bit more motivated. But sometimes it's just that first step just to make that movement happen is what they say, a journey of 1,000 miles, the first step is the hardest.
Also too, a good tool, also charities too, even though you can't get together in big groups now, but you could still, so that's also sort of somebody you can mention to a friend for if they're part of, I don't know, they usually do a charity run for whatever fund it is, whether it's cancer or ADHD, mental illness. You can get that person out and say, you know what, well, you're going to do this walk today, right? Whatever steps or how many kilometers it is. Even so, they're not even thinking about the fitness. They're just thinking about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like they're just playing, I don't know, another way to motivate people too.
Yeah, a lot of those 5K marathons, 10K marathons, all that stuff is all canceled now, and so
you can still do them without.
Yeah.
You could still join them. I was shocked too. Like you could still join the charities, but you just have to do it on your own. I think you log in how many kilometers you do.
Yeah, so it's more of a virtual thing now. You're doing it by yourself, and capturing the results and raising funds for those particular charities as well. And you know, if that's something that you need to, that's going to help to motivate you to take those steps that you need to take, then, you know, I say by all means use every tool at your disposal to figure out how you're going to get yourself off that couch, because, you know, it's since it's crazy. Last week, a good friend of mine, his friend passed away, had a heart attack, fairly reasonably young guy, his early 40s. And like, I met him a few years ago, a really great guy. But again, you know, a lot of times we don't go to the doctor to really get ourselves checked out, or we don't really pay attention to certain things, and we're not getting enough exercise, and we're sitting on the couch and we're eating bonbons or potato chips or something like that. And there's definitely a dramatic impact on our lives. You know, they say right now alcohol as consumption has gone up. You know, a lot of the vices have gone up, and we're not necessarily doing a very good job of combating that with a reasonably healthy lifestyle. Seeing the doctor on a regular basis. Although I know it's challenged right now to get in to see your doctor, but, you know, make your health, be your own advocate for your own health, and go out and make sure you make that appointment, see your doctor, get yourself checked out. If something doesn't feel right, you know, don't necessarily sit back and think, oh, it'll pass, because sometimes it doesn't. Or, you know, by the time you get around to figuring it out, then, you know, it can be something that is life-threatening. And, you know, everybody's got somebody who wants them to be around a little bit longer. So you know, the mental health piece of all of this, it can be a bit of a struggle, even though we do have a lot of these tools that we can utilize in order to keep us healthy and keep us moving forward. It can be a bit of a challenge for us to be able to keep ourselves motivated, push ourselves, and then, you know, keeping our mental faculties intact. One thing you know, since I've had you on the show a few times, one thing we've never really talked about that I'm really kind of curious is, you know, for people who have injuries or are in wheelchair, or you know, their mobility is limited.
Yes.
You know, I know you work with some people like that. How do you know, for people like that, what would you say to them about getting that movement going?
This is we're talking about people that are permanently, or is this just a temporary thing until they get better?
A little bit of both.
Well, for people that are going through the rehab process, I just tell them, you know, we have to, like, of course, I put myself in their shoes, and I let them know that I understand how depressing it could be that yesterday or 2 months ago, you were doing everything that you know, physically can. And now today you have these limitations. But I say, you know what, every day you're just pushing yourself a little bit more. And I understand you're going to have those days where you just don't want to do anything, but try, you know, just get up, and whatever we can do, I'm here to help you. As long as I see that you're motivated to move, I'll tell them, you know what, this is something that's going to help you get better, even though you don't think so. Just even by doing bed exercises, by moving, we're trying to prevent, I just give them the benefits. So you're trying to prevent stiffness. You're trying to maintain your range of motion. We want to maintain the muscles that you're allowed to use, right? Because sometimes you have a limitation, you're not allowed to use certain muscles, but the muscles that you're allowed to strengthen, let's continually strengthen them, because there's going to be a day where you're allowed to get up off the bed and start putting weight through that joint. And we want to make sure that we're maintaining as much muscle as possible, because muscle's the first thing to go. So yeah, just letting them know and breaking it down to them why we are going to do that, why I shouldn't allow them just to stay in bed, because the longer you stay in bed, the weaker your body gets, right? So even if it's just sitting up and transferring to your wheelchair, transferring to a chair, it's huge, as opposed to lying in the bed, because just sitting in the chair, I tell them the benefits, you're still using your core muscles, all the core muscles that you are now just being able to sit up in the chair, they don't realize that. They're like, well, why can't I just lie in the bed and put the bed up into a sitting position? No, it's not the same, right? Just sitting at the edge of the bed to eat your meals is big, right? You're breathing properly, you're using your core, your back, you know, you're breathing properly, getting full oxygenation, and as opposed to lying down all the time. And then, you know, so that's what I try to keep encouraging them and keep educating them that this is why you should get up and move. And once they get up and they move, sometimes they're even surprised at how much they could still do, right? Especially the younger folks that were so active before. So even though they might not be able to fully say raise their arms up or whatever the limitation is, the other muscles now that they're starting to use with the physiotherapy I might be doing with them, they might be surprised, oh, I didn't think I'd be able to do that, or I didn't think I still had that strength. And it just kind of motivates them to do more. And as they know the benefits of doing it, people are more inclined to keep moving once you explain to them. So the big piece of it is just letting them, educating them. That's giving them that positive feedback, as opposed to be like, yeah, you don't want to move, fine, stay in bed. Okay, right? Because at the end of the day, sometimes, you know, I let them know, because when they say I'm sorry, a lot of patients tell me, I'm sorry, Joel. I'm like, no, don't say I'm sorry. Tell your body you're sorry, because I'm here to help you move. And, you know, I'm fine. And I'm here for you. I'm here to help motivate you. I'm here to get you stronger. So don't tell me sorry, right?
Okay, so they're telling you sorry because they're not able
I'm like,
to.
why are you saying sorry to me? Right? At the end of it, I'm still getting paid regardless if you move or not. Don't tell me sorry. So that's what I give them, that feedback. And then it's kind of like, and then it sinks in, hey, yeah, she's right. And then all of a sudden they start buckling and putting their shoes on. Right? Sometimes you just have to be real with people, honestly. In a nice way.
So a lot of that is, I guess it's more of a mental thing.
It is. So a lot of the time it's mental, because when you don't feel great, when you were a physically fit person doing everything you wanted to do, and now, God forbid, now you're in the hospital and you cannot do all those things. You can't just jump out of bed and you have to require help or assistance, or it takes a lot of effort to do that simple task that you were able to do 2 weeks ago. It could be depressing, right? And then I come in, and yeah, sometimes I give patients a hard time, you know, in a good way. I'm just kind of like a reinforce. So I like to give them the benefits of why we're doing this, you know, why it's important that you get out of bed, why it's important that what's going to happen to your body if you continue on this path. Like, I always say, do you want to stay here? No, chances are most people, they want to get out of the hospital as fast as possible. So just reinforcing what needs to be put in place, the work that needs to be done in order for them to get out of that bed and get home, you know, it just encourages them, because we're human. We're all going to have those days where, hey,
we're going to take a quick commercial break. For 2 minutes, and then we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Michonne Young, and you're listening to iLive Radio, supporting independent artists from all around.
This is Ronnie Sia, and you're listening to iLive Radio. iLive Radio. Changing the way you listen to radio. Listen to radio. Listen to radio.
It goes down right here on iLive Radio. Yo, this is Razan here, and you're listening to iLive Radio. Changing the way we listen to radio.
What's up, everybody? This is Cy Smith, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
My beautiful people, it's your man Tayanis, and right now you got it locked to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio around the world, baby.
Nothing makes you look, feel, and perform better than a tailor-made suit. Just like a tailor-made suit, a mortgage is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Canadian Tailored Mortgage Solutions will customize a mortgage to perfectly suit your needs. Come and get fitted for your mortgage today at 1-877-834-9346 or reach us on the web at ctmortgagesolutions.com. COVID safety protocols are in place. Brokerage license number 13228.
This is Miss Care keeping you connected with your iLive 5x5. Brought to you by iLive Music. Sponsored by Independent Hype and powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive5x5.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iliveradio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms.
You're listening to iLive Radio.
Here are some words of wisdom. Don't change your station. Don't change your station.
And we're back. Want to continue the conversation with, I guess, Joel, as we talk about, motivation, movement, and mental health in fitness. And we didn't really talk a whole lot about injury. And this is a piece wherein there, for people who may have been, relaxing for the last year and a bit, while they're waiting for the gyms to open up, or they just haven't been feeling motivated for whatever reason, and now they're deciding, okay, I'm going to get out and I'm going to do something. And but they can end up causing injuries to themselves, or they may have been injured and now they're trying to get through that. How would they be able to sort of gauge as to how much exercise they would be able to actually do?
Like I would say, start off small, right? You always want to start off small. It's just like you saying, you can't just jump up and run a marathon. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to, your body will talk to you, will tell you, right? You're going to feel some fatigue. You might feel more energized. You might feel like, oh, I can do a little bit more. But obviously you're going to come to a point where you're totally winded, mm-hmm. or you're starting to feel some muscle fatigue. And then you kind of like, that'll kind of give you an indicator that I need to stop. It's either you're going to just not listen to your body and just collapse, or you're going to take those signals and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, that half an hour today was good enough, right? Mm-hmm. I should try tomorrow. Maybe I'll increase it tomorrow with another 10 minutes or another 5 minutes, but yeah, you kind of just start off. I usually say like 30 minutes. I usually recommend 30 minutes a day to get your heart pumping. And then you can go from there. As you're starting to build your endurance, just like I was a soccer player, you want to build your endurance, then you can start to add on more each day, right? But you're going to feel, your body will let you know. Usually you'll feel it by the next day or 2 days after, when you forget why you're in so much pain, right? Depending on the workout you did. But gradually, so if you don't work out, you've been on the couch and you haven't moved, just lacing up your shoes and going for a simple walk. Just need to pick up your mail across the street and then going around the block. And then you have more energy, maybe go increase that walk for another block. And then every day it's another block, and you're kind of just building on, and you're increasing your endurance. And you're going to start to feel more energized. You're going to start to feel more toned. And, and it's just a whole pattern, like a whole cycle of feeling better, your body feeling better, feeling more energized, feeling more toned. You might even see some inches off the waist, which will even motivate you even more to keep moving, keep doing what you're doing, right?
Now, the other piece of that as well is when you have to look at what you're eating, mm-hmm. during this time. And because, people would be like, okay, I'm not going to eat anything for the next few days. I'm just going to eat, tissue paper or something because I need to lose X amount of weight. And then, they're working out and they might lose a lot of weight, but then the moment they eat something, they gain it all back. Or, they may end up just not eating the right things, not really eating something that's balanced. If you could work out tons, but if you're eating McDonald's all day long, then, you're going to see that. McDonald's people don't come after me, but you're gonna see. You're not gonna see the results that you may want to see. For people who are trying to navigate that or figure that out, any advice for them?
And then also too, another thing that people don't realize too, and even for me, is the calories you take in. So even though just say for average, it's like 1,500 calories for me to maintain or to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 1,500 calories of anything. So it's not like, oh, I can eat that Big Mac, because you also have to look at the nutritional value and what's in that food. So it could be 15,000 calories, all sugar, break down to sugar, turns to fat. Or you want to take in 1,500 calories of nutritious, more natural foods, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing, because I've heard that before. Oh, doesn't matter whether it's 2,000 calories from that donut or 2,000 calories from that. Calories are calories, but no.
But you just end up eating one donut, and that's your whole meal for the day.
Yeah. So, but sorry, now I got off track.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. But yeah, just being mindful of your calories, and that not all calories are made equally.
Yes. And when you eat too, because the more active you get, of course, you're going to feel more hungry. And there's people that don't eat all day. They're so busy with their life and everything that's going on that they skip breakfast and lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And then your body has to play catch up. So now your body's like, it's telling your brain, it's telling the brain, oh, I don't know when this girl's going to feed me again. So I'm just going to hold on to all these calories now that she fed me at 9 o'clock. And then even though you're exercising, you're like, why am I still gaining weight, or why am I not losing weight? So that you also have to look at when you're eating. So it's better to eat throughout the day as opposed to starving the body, putting it in a starvation state, and then eating everything in sight at 9 o'clock at night when you're, you know what I mean? When you're famished.
And then you're trying to go to sleep and you can't sleep because you've got your body's working,
right? And
working
then
too hard.
Your body requires sleep in order to process and break down all those foods and work efficiently. So yeah, it's just like, it's a cycle that some people just don't put together, like how everything works together, your nutrition, your exercise, sleeping, the importance of all of those things in order for you to be healthy. Because the main thing is now we want to be healthy. We see what's going on in the world, this pandemic, and we need to figure out how we can be healthy and fight whatever's out in the environment, right? Whether we're breathing it in, we're ingesting it in, however it's coming into our bodies, we want to be able to put up those defenses.
There is, I joke about not all calories are equal or made equally, but a big part of it is we don't necessarily think about. A lot of times we don't count the calories. So, one meal from a fast food place, it is literally, for the most part, the amount of calories we're supposed to eat all day. Mm-hmm. And then they're not good calories either. That's going to help our bodies in terms of being really nutritious. So a lot of times we don't really stop and think about what the long-term impact of that is. But then, we also hear about all these diets, the starve yourself diet. You eat one meal a day at 4 o'clock on a full moon on a Thursday afternoon, while a bird's flying over. You have all these many different diets out there. One is, you just only eat meat. Another one, you just eat potatoes. And the other one, you don't eat any meat. And the next one, you just eat fish. There's like so many different diets out there, but we often forget how the food we eat impacts our mental health, impacts the way that we think, impacts how we interact with the world around us. Because we see those commercials and we laugh about them, about somebody who's hangry, and they need to eat a chocolate bar to stop them from being hangry. And people will make that joke about being hangry. But what we're not realizing, or we're not really putting into action, is the fact that when we get hangry, those are chemicals that are struggling in our bodies, telling us, hey, something is wrong. And we don't often pay enough attention to that, or we're busy trying to get this really quick result. I need to lose 10 pounds by Friday. And so what do I need to do? I need to, so we have sometimes we have this distorted view of what exercise should be, and then that impacts the way that we view the world, and impacts our sleep, and it impacts all these different things, and there's a domino effect. So for somebody who a client that might come to you that's kind of all over the map like that, how would you kind of help to set them straight?
I just first want to start off with like just letting me know what is your daily routine, right? And what are your goals, right? Because we want to start from the baseline, like what is you're trying to achieve? Because I can't work with you if I don't know what you're trying to achieve, right? Maybe you don't want to lose weight. Maybe you're happy being the way you are. So I can't say, you want to change that. But overall, most people want to feel healthy. I don't know anybody that says, I don't want to feel healthy, right? So then I can explain to them what it is what will it take for you to feel healthy? So let's start off with how you're eating, right? And if they say, you know what, I'm quite happy with the way I'm eating, then if I notice that it's all sugar or everything, everything they're eating is carbs that's turned bad carbs, then I could just, give them a little bit of feedback on like, what have you tried having some fresh vegetables and fruits and into your diet? Have you incorporated those into your diet? Why don't you give it a try? Or do you drink water? Some people don't drink water. They hate water.
Yeah,
right?
I have a friend who does not drink water, and every
People
time
will tell me I can't drink water.
every time I see him drink water, I want to applaud him.
so yeah, I just challenged them, like, just have a glass of water, try a bottle of water a day first thing in the morning, try incorporating some fresh fruits and vegetables, then try, exercising or doing what is it that you like to do? What kind of exercises do you not like to do? How do you feel when you do? If they say, I hate this, why do you hate it? Is it because, could be that they're overweight, it's just hard on their joints, why they don't like the exercise, right? So it's kind of like you want to first, it's like an interview, you want to get that feedback, because people may not like something just because it causes them pain.
Yes, it hurts. Exercise hurts afterwards. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah. So then, okay, we can have you ever tried this modified version of it? Right? I hate burpees. So, but there's a modified versions to it. You can eliminate that jumping with the Bosu in your hands or whatever it is, right? Or so it's getting the feedback and working with the feedback and modify. So that's the thing. Some people just don't want to listen. They're just like, you should be doing this and you should be doing that and drilling it. And we're adults. No one wants to be treated like a child, right? So it's just listening to your client. I like to listen to my client, figure it out what it is that their goal is, how they want to achieve it. Are they willing to change their lifestyle and get healthy? Because their optimum thing is getting healthy. Forget about looking like the fitness model. We want to get healthy. And I just keep reinforcing the importance of good health. Not the six pack, it's good health that we're trying to achieve. We're all trying to achieve is good health.
You have a good point there in that, the being healthy doesn't mean that you have the six pack and, muscles, on top of muscles or something like that. That doesn't necessarily mean healthy for everybody. You could be a thick person, but you're healthy. Yes. Right. There's very different variation. There's a lot of different variations to what healthy is. And, you have to kind of define that with yourself and with your doctor and seek out some real medical advice in regards to what your limitations are. We've got like a minute, less than a minute left. And, Joel, it's always a pleasure having you on the show, having these conversations about health. I think it's something that's extremely important for us within the Black community to have conversations about these things, because it's not a conversation we have often. We've all come across family members who have been sick or been ill with diabetes or cancer or whatever, and then we never hear about it until it's too late. or they never go and get checked out until it's too late. And I think it's high time that we really take a lot of these things very seriously, take our health very seriously, especially in these times, and be our own advocate. I want to thank you, Joel, for hanging out with us. For you, those of you who are online who've been listening to us for the last hour, appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with us. Have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and take care.
Hello there, this is Benjamin Clementine and listening to iLoveRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, Toronto? My name's Bosco, and you're listening